What's up, all you fabulous people? Back at it again. Fourth take in your face. Here, but to bring it to you live with another sports take from four men. Cam B. Johnson and the B is for better understand that the Bengals might be going to the Super Bowl. Bring out your names, boys.
Moss Man in the building. I cannot believe the Bengals won that game.
Your favorite non-professional analyst, Scaps here on Fourth Take. Bengals did surprise me today, but I mean, how about them Cowboys gonna drop a big fat L today?
Debatable.
Coming live from an undisclosed location in Cleveland, Ohio, it's your boy, James T. Wickler. Brent Maurer, just pack your bags now. Let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Where the good Lord split you. I do think
Leading
we should
rusher,
open up the
leading
game
rusher
with...
for the Cowboys right now is Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
Doing that.
that guy
I'm
could
here,
throw another
honest.
hit. We'll see what happens.
What?
No one cares. All right.
I do think we should lead off by talking about Damar Hamlin's successful recovery, getting back into the world of things. It was a scary hit, having watched it live. Boys, what do you guys think about it? I'm glad that he's back, and I'm glad the prayers were answered by the world.
Yeah, that was wild. Oh, you go ahead, Scabs.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It was pretty crazy to watch, and I'm just happy that things are looking up. It was kind of scary for a hot second when all he could do was, be induced with a coma, but all's well, and happy to see him A-okay.
Yeah, that was a wild series of events. That's partly why I picked the Bills to win by so much today, because they brought him out and they had him up in the box. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. He's like sent
I
up the
didn't
heart.
see that.
And yeah, man, like just crazy. I don't know if that's something we're ever going to see again in football. Hopefully not. But yeah, pretty scary to see. Thank God he's okay. If he decides to play again, more power to him. If I was him, I'd hang it up. Let's say that's it.
Yeah, any takes by you on that, Wicker?
It just goes to show you that it is a privilege, a right, it's a privilege to go on that football field and play that kid's game that they get paid millions of dollars to do. At any point in time, they could be paralyzed or dead. So it's good that he's back and up to normal and didn't get Ryan Shaziered, and we're glad that the NFL and all their multi-million-dollar trainers saved that guy's life, thankfully.
Appreciate that take, my man. And I do also want to give a shout out to the first responders. Just goes to show that every man counts. Like the guy that essentially performed CPR, resuscitated him, all that stuff. It all mattered, and the dude's still here to talk about it today.
Yeah, you got to get to that stuff quick. I guess it was a assistant athletic trainer. I can't remember the guy's name for the life of me, and I'm sure he's not the only one. But it sounds like he was the one that did CPR first. So that reminds me, I need to be up to date on my CPR training. So
Doctor,
I'm gonna do that. Yeah, but yeah, that stuff's important.
Kevin Moss is a doctor.
DPT, but yeah, sure. But yeah, his brain being out of oxygen for 9 minutes, that's scary stuff. And he's walking, he's talking, he's kind of back to normal. Like I said, that's long odds, man. So honestly, that's really, really awesome. But another thing that happened that night, which of course I missed both, because I was watching Dark Knight, no regrets, greatest movie of all time. Donovan Mitchell scored 71 points that night, and I think Cam was the only one of us that watched it so far. I still haven't watched it, so
That was literally a crazy game to watch live. I mean, I came in for probably halftime on up to watch this guy at 40 points get to 50. Already, you're talking superstar type territory when you get to 50 points. Gets to 60, and by the point they're talking up 70, I'm just watching the whole thing go through, and I feel like not enough is talked about the actual big guys that we have in the cup. Like, we had people getting boards, like straight rebounds, like getting their assist in. We had people doing their part, even if they weren't scoring. They played their role, played in their post, and Donnie was hot. So when somebody's hot, you just give them the ball, don't ask questions, and then you get point games like this. So I feel like Donnie just knocked it out the park and got the best point total in our franchise history for the Cavaliers. Sorry, LeBron, but both of you, please subscribe. What do you guys
Yeah.
takes on the Cavs in general surrounding Donnie Mitchell? What you got about him, Moss?
Um, yeah, he's amazing. You know, I was a big Sexton fan. I was sad to see him go. I thought he was a good player, but Donovan Mitchell's like, I don't know, 20 times better than Colin Sexton. But not that I wish him or Markkanen like bad. We could kind of use Markkanen, at the wing right now. But yeah, this is how I've said this before. This is how we should have felt getting Deshaun Watson. You get a guy of this ilk, and he's instantly a leader in the community, off the court, on the court. He's amazing. He can pass. He can jump out of the gym. He can dunk over anybody. He's got a great 3-point shot. He's a good defender, good team defender. He's everything you want, and he should be getting MVP votes because, we saw the other night against the Warriors without him. We lost to a bunch of, Dante DiVincenzo. Who the fuck is that? Like, Curry's out, Thompson's out, Green's out. Like, this team's not there yet. But even the other night, Mobley's having 38 against the Bucks. It's a up and coming. This is the team you should actually be excited for. We'll talk about the Browns later and see whether or not we're excited for them still. But yeah, I'm all in on the Cavs, man. They're going to be great.
Just JB Bickerstaff's got them boys humming. We all know that the NBA season doesn't start until the playoffs. We're just hoping that the Cavs have enough star power and can deal as a squad in a playoff series. It's kind of where expectations are, and we'll stay updated. I think we're very good at home this year. But yeah, no, we don't prep for NBA until playoffs start.
Fair. What about you, Scaps?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the Cavs. To Wicker's point, it's still a little early, but I definitely think that there's a lot of potential that we're seeing. And I mean, when it comes down to just Donovan Mitchell as a whole, he's such a great player. He really has made everything that trade included kind of worth it, and I think he's really finding himself a nice home here. In regards to the 71-point game the other night, like Moss, I think you mentioned it when we were talking about this last time, but it was like one of the most efficient games ever in like NBA, or at least for the Cavs. I mean, and just to be able to put 71 points up is just absolutely ridiculous. So I'm curious to see.
I want to say it was something like he accounted for like 85 to 90% of the points between like assists and what he actually scored. Yeah, he's phenomenal. It's like a rare win-win for both teams because like the Jazz got a really good piece in Markkanen. He's been great for them this year. Sexton hasn't been the same yet, but he's been injured. I think he's going to be great for them. Abaji, we'll see. But yeah, we got Mitchell. We put him in our lineup. He's a dog. Like right from the get-go, he's a freak. And yeah, we're lucky to have him, man. It's really, really good to have him on this team.
We are. Yeah, I've been impressed with the kid since he was playing with the Utah Jazz. I'd be rooting for him whenever we were not in the playoffs, so I've been a fan of the kid since before we even got him. I was happy about that one. But let's talk about something else we happy about, though. I mean, this past week, we just named Jim Schwartz as our defensive coordinator for the Browns.
Are we happy about this?
Listen, I'm happy that Joe Woods isn't the defensive coordinator.
Oh, I'm real happy about
He still has
that.
time to subscribe.
But as the week's gone on, honestly, I think I've been convincing myself more and more that Jim Schwartz is going to be a good hire. And maybe this is just Cleveland bias, sure, but I really do think that he's going to be good with his wide nine scheme. I think Myles Garrett's going to have a really great year. And I think we're just going to see a level of competence that we just haven't seen with Joe Woods. So very excited to see how the D-line kind of grows and develops with Jim Schwartz, because that's kind of been his calling card so far.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was watching a little bit of this like Cowboys 49ers game before I came on, and I just watched their linebackers. Like, I don't know a whole lot about like Dre Greenlaw or like Fred Warner. I mean, I know they're great. Like, I don't know where they're drafted from. I don't know what round they're drafted in. Those guys are monsters. Like, literally every single time I watch the 49ers, those guys are flying around, knocking heads off. Nick Bosa's a monster. He's unbelievable. It just seems like they have, like, plug-and-play guys in that type of defense, which, to me, makes me hate Joe Woods more because it clearly was just the players he had and had nothing to do with his schemes. So, yeah, I'm hoping. Schwartz has been successful in 2 stops in a row now. He's been successful in Tennessee. I thought they had a pretty good defense. They did a great job at corralling Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. They got to the AFC Championship a couple of years ago. It really wasn't that long ago if you think about it. Cam has to poop, and the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017, and they had a great defense under Schwartz. So I'm cautiously optimistic. You're shifting me more towards your side, Scaps, for sure. But we'll see. I never try to get too high on the Browns before the season. I've seen it before. I know it goes. So we'll see.
Good mindset to have. What about you, Wick?
Oh man, I like the hire. I just think that if the defense struggles first 8 games of the season, I think Stefanski and then Jim Schwartz are out of there. So,
they're gonna fire Jim Schwartz 6 games in, 8 games in.
They fire Stefanski as the head coach. You don't think they're getting rid of the defensive coordinator?
I think that elevates.
Jim is
I think he's head coach.
Then he's the sacrificial lamb to then be the interim coach, just like Greg. Is it Little?
Greg.
Roman?
Double G.
Who is the bounty gate guy?
Yeah, Double G.
No, it's Triple G.
Yeah, there's 1 G and 2 Gs.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Yeah, Greg
Williams. Yeah. See, I like Greg Williams. If you sever the head, the body will die.
Greg Williams had a lot of job interviews, according to Greg Williams.
So did Eric Kennedy. Dog, and we all know how that worked out. So.
Yeah, and that's Greg Williams was standing there in his bathroom having mock interviews with himself.
I mean, we'll see what happens.
His planning was excellent, having his free safety all the way at the other end zone, just in case they go over the top.
Halo. What's the Angel or whatever? What's the worst record Stefanski can survive with next year? Like 7-10.
Hey, we got to play the schedule game. When's the bye? That really determines.
Just give me the record. I'm not like, do we need to make the playoffs? Do we need to make the playoffs? I think if we don't make the playoffs, he's gone.
No, we can still not make the playoffs, but we need to be in the hunt.
I think realistically, 7-10 is probably where he would kind of like just barely scrape by. I think if he's 4-13 or something at the end, they'll definitely get canned. But I don't think they'll do anything in the middle of the year. I think they'll wait until the end.
If it's a 5-game type win stretch, then yeah, I could see them starting to pump the whole Stefanski brakes on. But bringing it back to Jim Schwartz, I think just having what could be a top 5 run defense in the league, I think we could really be doing something on defense nowadays. Like, dude worked with Ndamukong Suh. Like, this guy, if he gets a defensive tackle at any point, I think we're working with somebody because it starts to make you wonder, will he pimp Winfrey out, Perrion Winfrey, or do you think he's going to find a different route to make our defense happen? Because then Stefanski will get to focus on his own offense and make what works work. Because, like, I've seen the Watson to Amari Cooper connection just continuously work. So I feel like if we just own our offense and make our defense, like, competent, then I think we're really working with something here.
So, I mean, I know Buffalo lost today. Let me just bring this up, being the bearer of bad news. Buffalo lost today.
Dang, son.
In case you guys didn't know that, but is Deshaun Watson winning that game that Joe Burrow won today? Me? Hell no. No way he would win that game in the snow. No way. That's my thought.
Yeah, you've been talking about players playing up in the snow, and I think it does matter if you're not from here. So, like, you get a Midwest Titan like that, you got somebody that can play in any weather, and I don't think Watson is shown to be as efficient on his cold days. So, yeah, Burrows is one of them boys in Ohio. He knows how it is up here. Yeah, he owned that.
I fully think that Deshaun Watson would be able to win the game today because it's not necessarily based on his throwing ability specifically, because I think we've seen him throw, like when he was playing the Saints, he had some crisp throws. I thought. I mean, Kevin Stefanski didn't really throw a lot, but I mean he had some okay throws, and I think if he's really in the groove of things, he can make some throws and has the option to potentially run while having Nick Chubb, right there with him. There's a lot of ways that you can move the chains and be diverse in your play calling. So, I mean, sure, maybe would it be a little bit of help from Kevin Stefanski? Yes, but I also do think that Deshaun could win that game overall.
Bills are some boys, though. That's my counter argument when it comes to that. They're a two-way team. Their offense is one of the best ones. Josh Allen's a whole demon, a murderer almost. And I've seen their defense do about the same thing. So, I mean, the same way the Browns got put down by them earlier this season, I just think that with Watson, I don't know if we're making that either. So, Wicker, what are your thoughts on it? You think Deshaun in this same position would have did it?
I think Deshaun has a lot of experience in really high stress situations with very hard and difficult objects. And when it's cold, you need a lot of lubricant to make sure that those objects are flowing and making sure that they are. I mean, his dick works, all the massage parlor. It's rust, okay? Deshaun will be fine, right?
As long as his dick works.
It's it's 4 games of the season. No.
What was your point exactly?
Yeah, right.
Dick works.
Cock. It might work.
He's got a lot of experience needing to be jump started when it comes to high stress situations in the cold, in the middle of a training room, in a hotel, at her place, at his place. Deshaun really thrives under pressure. He's gonna.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's throwing somehow.
I'm legit worried about it, man. Because even Herbert, that was a fluke game that they lost to the Jaguars. But Lawrence might be coming now. Herbert's there. Burrow's top 5. Allen's in that conversation. It's almost after today, I almost want to put Burrow ahead of Allen because that was such a good game by him.
They run the ball effectively? No.
Yeah, it's we need Chubb. All these people on I don't know, it's a whole lot of people, but Jonathan Peterlin's the one I hear subscribe. Exactly. He's one of the late night guys on 92.3. He's on the trade Chubb train. He wants him. He's recoup what we can. We need Nick Chubb now more than ever. I think our window is legitimately 2 to 3 years. Whenever Nick Chubb's contract runs out, this is it, man. So Schwartz, beat some ass and get this defense in order because we need a great defense to win games like that in the snow. That's what Cincy did. They played well. They played really well. I mean, offense played great, but it was just a complete team deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really don't think that the Browns front office would ever consider trading Nick Chubb right now, or ever, honestly.
They shouldn't. That would. I mean, how many fans they'd lose?
All of them.
Yeah, right.
Not many. They'd come back. They always come back, you suckers.
Suckers is us. We are those people.
I'd like to give you all of my money. Here you go.
I'm not paying them.
right there.
Yeah, I just want to shout out Nick Chubb. That man's back has got to be hurting carrying our franchise. I mean, I just
He's
haven't
Mm,
seen a bigger evolution to this man hitting the gym, getting twice as decked, and just like instead of running routes that go around people, he's running into people. He's showing he's got the dog in him. I mean, he's showing he
he's a
can't be stopped, and
mom.
if he makes himself too marketable, it'll become easier to lose the guy. I think that 92-3 guy that you mentioned is just like starting conspiracies. I mean, like nobody's wishing for Chubb to go away to free up any kind of cap space or anything to that matter. Like I think Dude wants to be here, and I think it shows. So if anything
Brett
happened, it would be a Browns
Maher.
work.
Brett Maher just made a 43-yard field goal.
Oh man,
Ooh, 43
the field goal worth more points than a touchdown?
these
I don't
days.
know.
Yes.
I haven't checked recently. 16-12 Niners right now.
I think two things. Nick Chubb, first and foremost, if you are a true dog, subscribe.
I'll do it right
and
now.
Like,
and two, when it comes down to shit, whatever Kane was talking about prior to being interrupted about Brett Maher making a field goal.
it's important.
Field goals, right?
I'm gonna bail. Actually, I can't remember.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, this is a great podcast.
Just remember
Dead
to
air.
sound-
Simply the best.
Well, I guess we can just kind of take this opportunity to like wrap up the Brown season in general. Like we kind of already talked about it, but like where we are, where we're going, what we're gonna do now that Schwartz is in, who are we gonna sign? Kev kind of mentioned it before. Wide nine, we need more defensive tackles. We need better defensive tackles. Who can we get?
A whole defensive tackle. I mean, it's already been shown that guys worked with Dominic and he turned out to be one of the pimpinest defensive players in the land under like Schwartz's role. So I mean, I think the pass defense ended up getting a little better toward the end of the year, but people ran against us all year. I think defense is the glaring red flag that we need to like get that obstacle hurdled over. And I think our offense, it's showing it can come to it. I think Deshaun's gonna be living up here for a bit, yay, or Bell, depending who you are. But like, if he can play a couple games in practice in some snow, I think we might be able to get onto something here. We've shown that we need to dump all our money onto Amari Cooper immediately. Make a couple wide receiver mentions. I'd like to see DPJ staying here, but for the
Oh yeah.
season, I feel like we've still shown that we can be a competitive team on paper, but if those don't translate to wins, we got to doctor it up and make some changes where needed. So I'm cool on Cade York and the special teams, all that beautiful stuff. What do you guys got for that? Our seasons.
Well, for me, I'm excited for the Browns. I genuinely do think that next year we have good reason to be optimistic. Having Jim Schwartz come in and being able to take over the defense and do his thing, and allowing Kevin Stefanski to focus on the offense, and allowing special teams to suck ass per always under Mike Prefer will be great. We'll we'll probably lose like a solid 1 or 2 games because of garbage special teams, but I still think it's reasonable to think that we can shoot for like a 10-7, maybe an 11-6, kind of record next year. I mean, not looking at the schedule, just kind of assuming based off of the talent we have, because I think it really will just come down to confidence. When it comes down to like free agents or things like that, I would really like to see someone like Javon Hargrave come in. That would be a really nice addition, I think, for the Browns. I think realistically there are a couple of others too, that might be like smaller names or maybe not as like big splashes for defensive tackles that could be helpful, like Puna Ford from the Seahawks. Just as an example.
Old Puna.
Yeah, I mean, what a name, Puna.
Kuna.
Yeah, I mean, I want the big splashy names. I'd love Fletcher Cox to come in here. I'd love, Hargrave. I think is a good one too. I think he was solid on the Steelers. I think he was solid on the Eagles. I'm good with basically anybody they can finagle out of the Titans or the Eagles because those are pretty good defenses. I don't think we're getting Jeffrey Simmons. I don't think we're getting Fletcher Cox. But even if they're just kind of like the role players in that defense, like I've seen enough with Jordan Elliott. I'm good. I think give him some healthy competition in camp. If he rises to it, awesome. But if he sucks in training camp, bye. I feel the same way on offense about Anthony Schwartz. Like, give him one more shot. If he can't do it, bye. Like, we have a very limited window here. This isn't. I know Joe Burrow, a cocky asshole. He's like, oh, my whole career is my window. Like, that's not it, man. That's not how it works. Their window, the Bengals, is so big now because he's so young and Chase is so young. Watson's getting his money next year, so we're going to start losing guys. And we'll talk about this in a minute, but we extended Conklin. Who else is going to be able to come back?
Well,
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, Cam, you're right. It will be tough. Do you have anything else you want to say on that?
I was letting you ride with it.
I don't want to steal the thunder. Honestly, I do think that with Andrew Barry being our GM, I mentioned this before. I really genuinely think he is a cap wizard. That man is going to scoop out money we didn't even know we had. And, I think the best part is to him, it's as simple as just kind of like, I don't know, opening up the Sunday newspaper with some coffee. I don't even think he's like at the point of trying to shake out the couch for extra coins. Like, I genuinely think he's going to be able to get us up to 42 million probably in salary cap for next year. And I think we'll have plenty to do, at least one, if not maybe two big splashes. I could definitely see something kind of along the lines of like signing a Javon Hargrave or shit, if we could get a DeForest Buckner or something like that, that would be amazing. But then maybe like trade for someone like Brandon Cooks, who's worked with Deshaun, but is still kind of younger. I think he's like 28 or something like that, maybe.
Are they going to take a second rounder for Brandon Cooks? That's all we got.
Honestly, I don't even know if it would take that much.
I don't know about that.
I think we could offer them a third rounder, and they'd probably take it because I think he's on a contract where they don't want to pay.
What did you say?
Houston's a dumpster fire. I know that Brandon Cooks has come out publicly and said he doesn't want to be part of the rebuild, but he's under contract, I believe, and I think, like Scaps was saying, I think they want a second rounder, but they'd probably let him go for a third. I don't know. I mean, they traded out Larry Tunsil. They shipped off. This is on Green Bay, right? Yeah. Brandon Cooks.
No, Brandon's on the Texans.
That's what I thought. Could they?
Larry Tunsil's still there, bro. You hitting the crack pipe?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. Larry Tunsil's still there. Okay, Brandon Cooks is still there. They have to hold on to some players. They're going to draft a quarterback. They got to protect them. They got to have someone for him to throw to.
Oh, man. Josh McCown is getting that job. And he's gonna
A former Brown?
yeah, he's gonna Flint Tropic it.
He's going to land his helicopter in Houston and become the head coach.
I feel like Josh McCown is white Jacoby Brissett. There are so many people that loved him for no reason for 12 games that he played or whatever here. Or two.
So they wanted the reports where they wanted to hire him instead of Dave McCauley 2 years ago. And they really wanted to hire him, but nobody else was giving Josh McCown interviews.
I think Josh McCown will be a solid coach. I liked him when he was here. I think, in a horrible situation, I think he did a pretty good job. I don't know who the Texans are going to draft, but it's going to be a quarterback, and they can lie about it all they want and say, "Oh, we'll stick with Nick Zilla." Like, no, you won't. Davis Mills,
Bryce Young
could be. Well, or is he going to go first overall, or is he going to be too short?
Right now, Tankathon has Will Anderson edge going to Chicago.
Yeah, I saw that too.
They should draft a quarterback.
I think they will.
Fields
Also, I'm
isn't
going to
that
speak
good.
up for Short Kings. They're going to take him because of it.
Short Kings.
Hey, Short Kings.
Short Kings.
Subscribe, CJ Stroud and Bryce Young.
Excuse me, you
Please.
dropped your crown.
So what do you guys think the Conklin extension is going to show? Going forward, who we're going to get rid of in this offseason? We already kind of talked about people we need to bring in, but me, John Johnson, I think is number one on the chopping block. I think he's going to be out of here because he won't shut his fucking mouth and he can't play that well, and he's making too much money.
Yeah, I'm with you. John Johnson is at the top of my chopping block. Anthony Schwartz. Honestly, I don't even need to see more.
Making any money, but like.
If I get rid of him, I can at least sign one of my 5th or 6th rounders in the draft.
Michael
Maybe. I'm thinking with the way Clowney's going out, he frees up a little bit more space and becomes the easy answer too. And the writing's on the wall with Kareem Hunt, and I know a guy that knows a guy / I work with this person. Don't bat me, but I think the writing's on the wall that he's not signing back either for Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt? Oh yeah, he's I see those as foregone conclusions. Kareem Hunt's gone.
Yeah.
Jadeveon Clowney took a hot diarrhea on the Browns bridge and then smeared his ass all over it and wrote "I hate you guys" in the poop. He's gone.
And then was ashamed when everyone called him out on it.
No, I'm a father. I'm a father of the club.
It's funny that Andrew Berry was a wizard when it came to players. Haven't had a good defensive lineman in a while.
Not named Myles Garrett.
Oh, Myles Garrett.
Jadeveon Clowney last year had a really good year. Are we just going to ignore that? Yeah, 2 years ago, sorry.
Emerson's right there.
Well, he's saying defensive lineman.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Alex Wright seems to be pretty good.
The guy that did a bunch of drugs, Tank McKinley? Yeah.
That's not Tack McKinley. God, you were hitting the crack pipe, dude. Malik McDowell.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I mean, because I was going to say, Tack McKinley did pretty all right as a rotational edge, too. Like, he got us 5 or 6 sacks, I think.
There's one, Chase Winovich. Are we bringing him back? What did he do this year? Yeah, hey, great jersey number. Fantastic jersey number. 69. Fantastic.
That's true. They'll probably sign him to some kind of depth role if he's willing.
I think we're going to end up picking some other guy up like that in that Tack McKinley, Winovich role.
Yeah.
Danny Shelton?
Danny Shelton.
Danny Shelton. Oh, my God.
Here's something. I don't know if they're gonna bring back Sione Takitaki. I think he played well. I just think that they feel that they could probably replace what they get from Sione with someone who doesn't need a second contract.
Yeah, off an ACL. I don't know how old he is. 28, probably. I'm gonna guess. But this front office clearly has a type. They want him 28 or younger. If they can get him on their first contract, he's 27, so potential there.
Young buck, yeah.
I know publicly he said he wants to come back. I don't think Andrew Berry cares.
I think if he can sign cheap, but
yeah, well, I think that's something else I'm looking for from Schwartz. Like, I need him to get the best out of guys like Grant Delpit, guys like JOK. Even potentially Tony Fields, who, he shined in a couple moments this year, and who knows if he'll even make the team. But, just these young guys that we've heard about for a little bit now. And JOK, you've seen it, and Delpit, you've seen it a little bit when he's in the right position. But yeah, I need to see these guys take that next step. I think that's how we're going to get to a Titans, Eagles level defense.
Big facts. Going back to Conklin, I know dude's coming off an injury now. What's the rehab period look like for him to get back to form?
I mean, he tore that patella tendon Dr. Kevin Moss here, Doctor of Physical Therapy. He tore the patella tendon, what was it, about a year ago now? November, maybe? It might be 14-ish months now. But really, there's like a mental aspect to any injury. So I think we do this as fans, and I do this too, where people tear their ACLs or whatever. You know, Odell Beckham tore his ACL in last year's Super Bowl. He honestly shouldn't even be ready to come back. And people are like, he needs to be signed. Why isn't he playing? Blah, blah, blah. He might mentally not be fully confident in that knee. You know, I think we kind of saw that when he came back for the Browns. Like, he tore it it was October, I think, because that was that game that Baker just went off. He threw that pick and then just cooked him. And then, yeah, he was ready to go next year, but he missed like a couple games at the beginning of the year because there's just that like mentally you can't get over that hurdle. You're not fully comfortable running or cutting, but you're getting paid a lot of money, so they get you back on the field. So I think there was a little bit of that in Conklin this year. He just wasn't fully himself. I think he'll be better next year. I'm glad we resigned him, honestly, because I'm not sure with Ted Wills. You know, at least I feel confident in Batonio, in Conklin, kind of,
Facts.
and Teller, kind of, although Teller had kind of a rough year. Ethan Posich, whatever.
Posich, I think.
Some sort of Polish something. Are we going to re-sign him? I thought he was excellent this year. I think he did a great job. But can we afford him?
He hit the ground running, but yeah, it's going to come down to what our cap looks like once it gets down to it. What do you think, Scaps?
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to come down to what he's looking for. I mean, if he's trying to, shake us for our lunch money, then no, we're not signing him. I think if he's willing to take a team-friendly deal, then they're going to be willing to sign him and let him and Nick Harris see what's up. I mean, the reality is, Ethan did play excellent, and Nick Harris might be ready to be a starter, but at the same time, we're not really paying him that much to sit on our roster and be our backup anyways, and if Ethan continues to play excellently, great, Now, moving beyond that, though, a lot of people feel strong feelings about Jedrick Wills, but honestly, I think he's a good addition to our line, and I think he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. And right now, I think our line, with or without Ethan, is going to be good, and especially next year when everyone is 100% healthy and, to Moss's point, hopefully mentally strong to kind of go with that.
Ethan Posich had a $1.1 million contract last year. I think that's totally affordable. Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but yeah, Wicker, what are you thinking about all this?
I think it's that goddamn Spitzer Shield that Jack Conklin and that other lineman signed up with Serpentini Auto.
Serpentonio.
Serpentine.
That's what let our Pro Bowlers see. Offensive line depth is important, but I'm not fucking O'Callahan. Like, I'm not the offensive line coach. It's just hope and pray that when the injury bug does strike, that we have the depth needed to be able to perform.
We did sign
Callahan is the beast.
We did just sign him to an extension, so hallelujah. That's awesome.
I love the fact that he turned down the Jets' offensive coordinator role specifically to sign an extension with us.
Get right.
Perfect segue, my friend. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. Zach Wilson, man, what is going on with this guy? First of all, does he have an NFL future?
No, he wasn't ready. He looks like a high schooler, fresh out of college, went out freshman, and then he just got into the NFL. Couple of favors were paid, did it for New York. And meanwhile, the Jets did have a bit of a resurgence in the season, but God, when you look at Zach Wilson's stats, it's just not it right now. I think any other quarterback will probably get them back to threat level, honestly. I mean, their offense has shown they can do that, so I mean, with Zach at the helm, we have a number of people coming up for the organization saying he's not the guy. Like it's going on Twitter, it's going on Facebook. It's like, damn, bro, just another year back up, and you might have did a little better. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, to me, when you have no talent like I think he has, and you have a bad attitude, like, what's the point? You know, I think they might give him one more year. I think it might be like I said with Schwartz. They'll give him like a training camp, and they'll say all the right things. You know, I think Saleh really impressed me this year. I think he did a pretty good job as coach, especially with the shitty hand he was dealt. I mean, no offense to Mike White, but like, Mike White, dude. Like, you know, you'll have a good game once in a while, then you'll have 3 terrible ones in a row. Zach Wilson, like, has he ever even had a 3-touchdown game? I think he might have one. And yeah, he's played 2 years, but like, I just think his teammates don't like him. I think he's not talented enough to do anything. I don't think he's slow. I think he's slow. I don't think he's accurate. I don't think he has a strong arm. I think he's a guy that exists and can throw a football. The end.
What you think about that existence up there, Wick?
I think MILFs better beware, but I really think Zach is going to be a backup, or at least competing for a backup job next year. He's still under contract. If the Jets want to move him, they'd have to probably sell him for not what they got out of him, which was it the 2nd overall pick or the 2nd quarter taken in the draft. I could see Zach competing for like a starting job with Baker somewhere, like maybe in Carolina, or I don't know.
Baker goes back to Carolina, huh?
Yeah, you're right.
Something.
Nah.
One of those garbage. Maybe Washington. Like, hey, we really need like somebody to play quarterback, and let's bring in Baker and fucking Zach Wilson. Like, I could see that happening, and him being a career backup, because I mean, the way that he's looking right now. I mean, of all the quarterbacks that are out there, Derek Carr, Jordan Love, Lamar, Aaron Rodgers, allegedly, that are out there. I mean, I would say people would advocate for Baker, or they're going to advocate for Zach Wilson, and people might even advocate for Trey Lance over that.
Trey Lance
They should.
Though. Yeah.
They should, if their eyes and ears and, you know, all their other senses work.
Yeah, honestly, the Jets are trash with Zach Wilson, and it's mostly because of Zach Wilson. He looks oddly similar to Josh Rosen. Throws very nice ball when everything is pristinely perfect, but the problem with the NFL is you never get that. You never have a clean pocket for 8 seconds, so your person can run and torch the DB that's slower than everyone else, because apparently that's what you need, and just to throw it in the basket. Like, that's just not how the NFL works. So on top of all of these things that Marshall's talked about, where he really does struggle, and the reality is he panics when there's any sense of pressure when he's playing here. Top that with his just trash attitude and awful leadership skills. I mean, when he took no accountability for losing that one game and letting down the defense, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, three whole points is what he scored exactly. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to really see a future for Zach Wilson. I'm sure he will end up being a backup somewhere next year, but I'm thinking, 2-3 years he's selling cars at a used car lot somewhere.
Or, maybe Pornhub gets that lucrative contract,
Honestly, he might fucking sign up for Pornhub under the MILF category.
MILF Hunter. Allegedly, I've never heard of Pornhub. Wicker told me that. And how dare you compare Zach Wilson to Nickelodeon MVP Baker Mayfield? How dare you disrespect him like that,
That's
Wicker?
that King MVP right there.
That is your
The
MVP.
MVP.
Your MVP. He got slimed on national television.
Oh
So
yeah,
you
slime time.
can put him
When
there
Matt
saying,
Stafford comes back, is Baker the backup or?
Yeah.
if I'm Baker Mayfield, re-sign with the Rams, dude. You know,
Yes,
McVay's
yes.
there. Like, take a year, soak it all in. Like,
Yep.
I think he's good enough to win. I think he's good enough to start. We'll get into that another day. But Trey Lance is an interesting one you brought up. Yeah, the Niners might clinch this right here. It's 19-12 right now. The other boy's pretty good.
Man,
Brock
Brock.
Purdy.
Okay.
Brock Purdy, man.
Like, yeah, they can't go back to Trey Lance. There's no way. Like, Trey Lance apparently in training camp was terrible. At the beginning of the season was not good. Jimmy G got in, who's less athletic, has less of an arm, did great. Got hurt. Brock Purdy, who literally was on the practice squad. What, Wicker? You're waving your arms.
Oh no, Jimmy G's got a big dick.
He
What
finds
is it?
three-quarters kind of purdy.
Fucking Watson's dick works. Jimmy G's got a big dick. God.
He's a sex machine.
These are dire things that need to be said right now.
He's
How
banging,
much sex are
he's
we
banging
having?
porn stars. Jimmy G. Straight to the Niners, starts going on dates with adult film actors. Like, what do you?
If Wicker had a combine, dick size would be number one for sure.
Oh, dude.
Tape.
Hey man, they need a contingency when Zach Wilson signed up with Pornhub. Jimmy Garoppolo followed him right into retirement.
Pornhub.
Dude, I don't think Jimmy G would be a bad ad for the Jets. I think he could be really solid for them.
Yeah.
Anything from Zach Wilson seems like it'd be a bit of an improvement right now, though.
I
Honestly-
think Zach Wilson's done, man.
He should be. The Jets should trade for Derek Carr.
I like Lamar
Not mad
Jackson.
at that.
I like
Lamar Jackson would be good for them too.
My sleeper for Lamar Jackson is the Giants. I think this whole Daniel Jones thing is so overblown. Like he won that one playoff game. Life, he was great, but Daniel Jones isn't that good, dude. Like Lamar Jackson is faster, stronger arm. Daniel Jones.
Jones, I feel, might do better in a different system, but I don't think the Giants is it.
Honestly, Lamar to the Giants is a really interesting thought because, like,
Sauce.
I mean, Brian
He's out of our
Dable
division.
helped Josh Allen improve his accuracy. I'm not saying that it's out of the question that he might be able to do something similar with Lamar Jackson. That could be very interesting.
One more thing I'll say about Zach Wilson. Very punchable face. You know, if we ever get the Wicker combine going, punchable faces and dick size should have been the first two measurements. And to me, like Wilson's up there, man. Like him. We talked about
him in a Denny's parking lot.
Yeah, I'll get him Waffle House, cock his ass.
I hit him with the old haymaker, but please subscribe.
Jay Cutler, dude. Jay Cutler's another one. God,
Jay Cutler.
fucking rock his shit. God, I punch him.
Man, he'd just be sitting there taking a drag. Not giving a shit. He's about to get his ass beat.
I feel like he throw one back.
I don't care, man. Whatever.
Yeah, man. Jay Cutler is absolutely up there. So is hippie Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers for sure.
I just can't stand it.
Throw Tom Brady. I mean, I'm from Deflategate. I never really had respect for the guy after that. I punch him in his perfect old face with the Bill Russell hands up here. So, you know, all those rings deserves a punch at least once.
So I'm just going to toss it out there. They don't have, per se, punchable faces, but I think it'd be really fun to punch them in their face. It's a tie between Mike Glennon and Davis Mills, just because I feel like they'd be kind of like a speed bag, just like boom.
Daniel Jones is a little bit of a punchable face to me too. He's got like, I don't know. He's just got a weird face.
He does kind of have a weird face on us. What's your top?
It's my top punchable face person.
QB maybe.
Quarterback.
Oh, I'm not really big like island person, so like I'm not.
Oh yeah, you'd much rather measure their dick first.
You know, you gotta ask the inseam of their pant.
Well, I guess that's all we got for today, boys. So
Anything
get your
anybody want to
sign
say?
offs.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Thank you to all of the supporters out there. It means a lot to us. Let's all cheer for the next big football game. And hope that the Bengals lose. Because the Browns are the only team for Ohio. Fourth take.
My one take on all this, I just want to say 2023 is looking like the year where we save our lads. I mean, Damar Hamlin came back from the injury. What was his face? Peyton Hill is too. I mean, I'm just glad we're saving our people. So I'm just giving my respect to the sport and the safety that we can endeavor and keep with us. But on a sillier note, the FBI, you'll never find where I'm at. I'm signing out. But Wicker, what do you have for us?
Be kind.
Oh my god. All right. So here's what I got out of this call. Wicker loves dick. He loves measuring quarterback dicks, but he won't punch anybody in the face. So take that, and I hope you all stew on it. And as always, I'll see you all in hell.